Emotion. I think that's a big one. When you start out in this business, you are much more emotionally attached to your clients, or at least feel that way, and so you become more emotionally involved in the transaction, and in the bantering back and forth, and the way the transaction occurs. And I feel like knowing now to stay calmer and more neutral, not only helps you get through it at the end of the day, but also helps your clients get through it, and and then things don't elevate as quickly. I mean, there's always, yeah, it's a really hard thing to try and keep chill, even though maybe the seller isn't happy with the offer that the buyer's presented, but then you've got to calm your seller down, or vice versa. Maybe the buyer thinks the seller's being, too harsh. And if you play a much more neutral role, it goes a lot faster, and it helps your buyer or seller get to it a lot quicker. So yeah, that'd be my advice to you. Yeah, so I work in the central Alberta region. Yeah, sort of, I guess, landed in Sylvan Lake, and have been licensed there for the 20 years that I've been in real estate. So, um, and the people I like to work with, like all sorts of different demographics of buyers and sellers. I suppose when you look at it from the outside, I am a bit more of a listing agent than I am a buyer's agent. But I really enjoy working with buyers, and I love. I'm a bit of an architect guy. I have a little bit of construction experience, so I really enjoy going through houses and seeing the different designs and the layouts and the footprints. Um, those are awesome. I like. I think I kind of like first time buyers a little bit more, because it's such an exciting adventure for them, and being able to navigate that with them, I think is kind of neat. It just it keeps you humble watching that process, and I like that part of it. So if I had to pick a demographic of buyer, I think it would be a first time buyer. I do enjoy that. Yeah, and like I said, I do work with a lot of sellers, and I think that just comes down to kind of how I speak. Even though they don't want to hear what I have to say sometimes, because it's not always the answer they want. I've always been able to articulate that in a way that they either appreciate that I had the guts to say it, or appreciate it because nobody else was telling them. So yeah. So what does it look like behind the scenes? How it is a lot of work. If you there's well, and especially in the last 2 years, because obviously lots of technology has changed the way everything works. But even before that, the goal, as in my opinion, as a realtor, is to make sure I can educate my buyer or my seller on what the market is doing. And in order to do that, you have to be able to continually look at the sales and the active listings and how many days on market and all those things. And so you have to spend time, like my, even using AI today, I still have to spend a good hour um, reading through the evaluation that I am going to present either to a buyer or to a seller. And before AI, it was probably 3 hours that I would sit there trying to look at this property and why is it better than this property, or what did it sell for. And in both instances, you're trying to come up with a result that makes sense and is a way that educates the buyer or the seller, um, to have the right tools to get through what they need to get through, whether it's purchasing it or selling it. So it is a lot more work. I think from the outside looking in, and this is why a lot of people get into real estate. They just look at the numbers and they think, oh wow, like you're selling $1 million homes and you're making X amount of money. But there's a lot more processes and learning that you have to do, and that takes a lot more money and takes a lot of time. So yeah. So I chose KIC Realty. Um, well, the simple answer would just be that the people above me, I trust and believe in. Um, but a little more um, deeper thought would be that I was looking for something that was more Canadian, and KIC is definitely that, and something that I could get in kind of, while it's young, and early in the early stages. So with me, my prior brokerage, I kind of missed that opportunity. So the outcome wasn't as great as it could have been had I done it, years sooner. And I said I wouldn't miss that opportunity again. And it just ironically happened to be with KIC, and it happened to be with people that I really am grateful for and believe in, that are also a part of KIC and are above me. So I think that's great. I think being a Canadian brokerage is important, and I think being a part of such a young community where we can build the culture and do that is really cool. And I yeah, I think that's really neat. So yeah, community is very important to me. I grew up in a very small community, a little farming community, and then moved to here, like Sylvan Lake and Central Alberta and Red Deer. And I think being able to have some input into your community, being able to help your community, volunteer, is very important. And being in real estate, you are somebody that helps um, with that economy, with inside that micro economy, by selling and listing properties and moving those properties along, both in the commercial and industrial and residential end. So yeah, community is important. I love. I kind of mentioned I coach. My girls are all in sports, and I try to be present as much as I can with that and help the community by coaching. I was on the fire department for 15 years here in Silver Lake, and did a stint there. Yeah, so giving back is important. Yeah, I think it helps provide a great environment, and that's the key. So community to me is yeah, it's up there. Yeah, what kind of impact do I want to have through my real estate business? Yeah, that's a good question. That yeah, I think what I want out of real estate is to have um, great connections with the people that I meet, um, and to, I guess, in some ways, kill the stigma that we use the term like car salesman, and stuff like that. I'd love to see realtors not be so low on that totem pole, if that makes sense. Um, I think there's some really amazing car salesmen out there and amazing realtors out there with the right personalities, the right integrity, to yeah, create a great environment for those first time buyers, or those buyers or sellers. So I think it's just to build a better community of realtors, where they're trusted and feel worth. I think that's important. So maybe that's where I go with that one. That's a question I wouldn't have thought of. So yeah. Ooh, a hidden gem within the surrounding area that in Sylvan Lake. Um, Honestly, it's I really like the Gulls, the AAA men's ball stadium that we have. I loved getting out there. It's a great way to connect again with the community. Our kids loved watching it. It's a great experience, and I don't think enough people realize it's here because we're such a small community compared to Edmonton and Calgary and some of these other places that we play against. It seems, yeah, like a little bit of an odd one, but I think the Gall Stadium, the men's AAA is one for sure. I think another one that's kind of cool, like going summer here, is the amount of golf courses around us that surround us. I don't golf very well, but there's lots of golf courses, which kind of makes it amazing too. Like you can, I can't remember, it's something like over 20 golf courses within like a 45-minute drive. So that's kind of a unique thing that maybe people don't realize. And the winters here are really fun. We are on the lake. We experience the lake in the wintertime. So the outdoors doesn't ever end just because summer's ended. That's another thing I really love about Sylvan, and a lot of people forget is that you can get outside and enjoy the lake in the wintertime too. So, yeah. I'm Ben James with KIC Realty here in Sylvan Lake. Catch the wave.